So your company is growing, you're doing well, probably around 500,000 to 5 million a year in revenue. But still it feels hollow inside, or you're forced to work too many hours in the company. You started entrepreneurship for freedom. And now here you are working your ass off, trying to save the company and keep the company going. Um, Although from the outside you look successful because people are coming up to you saying you're doing great. They give you acknowledgement and recognition for the thing that you've built. And you've built something cool, but it doesn't feel in that way. You don't feel the freedom. And it's astonishing to me that there are so many people, coaches and consultants out there that are selling you a system and a strategy. And they tell you, implement this system and you'll have free time and freedom and etc. But eventually you end up installing that system. It may work, but you still don't feel aligned. You still don't feel that it's right. And it's because you are not right. See, we spend so much time on implementing systems in the company, but not in our own lives. And that is our exact problem. We don't have systems in our lives. We haven't learned this at school. We don't learn this anywhere. And that's how I came across this, and I started building my own personal operating system. And with that, I built a backbone to be able to have long-term consistency and structure in your life so you can take back ownership of all assets of life. Look, I've doubled, tripled, quadrupled, 10x my clients' revenue with this system, but it's actually not even the main goal here. It's about creating alignment. Yes, your business will grow, but the most important thing is that you will feel good again. And that is more important than everything else. You can have health and you can have relationships, but you need to nurture them, you need to build on them, you need to put time and effort into them. You cannot outsource your relationships. You cannot outsource your health. This is something you have to take care of yourself. So, the reason I'm making this video is I'm going to show you how you can do this for yourself. And you're not the only one. I first did it for myself. I used to have multiple companies. One of the companies was an agency I co-created with two co-owners, and we scaled it up to 45 to 50 people at its peak. I also built an education company, which I sold to my business partner who's running the company until this day. And I worked with some other guys. Adrian went from 0 to 28K per month within 3 months revenue. Andrew went from 17 to 40K per month revenue within 3 months as well. And Bart went from 4K revenue to 35K per month profit. That is profit within 3 to 6 months. Bart's life is completely transformed. And he's not the only one. Nicholas tripled his revenue and profit in 6 months. Cyrus went from 7.5K to 20K per month within 3 months. And Mert from 5 to 10K per month within also 3 to 4 months. By the way, I only did a monthly session with him. We didn't even implement the whole personal operating system. Now, the reason all of this is created is not because we implemented some smart system. It's because we fixed the entrepreneur behind the business. So there's much more result, but it's hard to express the numbers of success in relationships. You know, my partner and I, we felt like a 6, now we're a 9. That's not measurable. What does that mean? But there's so much more impact that we've made outside of the company. And we did that through the personal operating system. And in my opinion, this is what every entrepreneur needs, that at least does 500,000 to 5 million a year in revenue, because you're going to need some more structure in your own life. What is more important? Your business structure or your life structure? I would say the second, because let's say I'm Tom and Tom has a life. And within that life, there's a part of my life, a big part probably, which is career and business. But there's also health, there's relationships, there's your contribution to the world. There's much more that you can look at, which is important to measure your life against, and that makes your whole life. So it's again mind-blowing that people don't have these systems for themselves, because if the leader of your life, right, you don't show up in the right structure, how are you expecting to do all these other little things right? So the personal operating system, it's a 3-month process where the first 6 weeks you implement the system. Now, first we're going to look at your natural wiring. I said this to another client, and I said to him, you don't know who the fuck you are. Truly, you have no idea who you are. You don't know your strengths, you don't know your weaknesses, you don't know what you need to keep in mind when you make decisions. You don't know if you should make quick decisions or take your time with decisions. You have no idea. You just do what you think is right. You're only in your head. You don't listen to your body. You need to know who you are. And this is based on your life story. This is based on, natural wiring, how you're naturally wired. This goes so deep. And we make in-depth reports telling you who you are. I'll tell you who you are if you join this program. You'll know exactly within the first week. And only if you know who you are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, if you should work more with teams, if you should spend more time alone, only then you can make the right decisions. I'll give you an example. I thought that I wanted to work with about 20 one-on-one clients and just have a lot of sessions every week. I love making impact. But then I realized when I looked into my natural wiring that is not the most beneficial for me. I'm getting drained too quick, too often, when I'm doing too many sessions, when I have too many meetings every day. For me and my natural wiring, it's not beneficial to have 5 to 6 hours of meetings and phone calls and conversations every day. I'd rather have 2 and spend the other 6 to 7, 8 or more hours, whatever, on creating, on thinking, on slowing down, on resting, on being strategic. Now, then we go into a 3-phase a moment where you take 2 weeks and we design your aligned life. How does your aligned life look like? What's the ideal version of your life? Not only on the business side, again, also the health, the relationships, how are you contributing to the world? How are your surroundings look like? All those things are so important. And we first get into kind of like a brainstorm where I want this, I want that. We gather everything we want. And then in the second week or the third week, we choose what we want and we anchor this in so we make sure we don't lose it. And that's when you start declaring what it is you actually want. But before you do that, you do a check if it aligns with your natural wiring. Now from there, we create different versions of your being. That is of who you are. A lot of people talk about identity. I'm talking about the being. Because look, son Tom to my parents is a different Tom than CEO Tom in the business. CEO Tom is also a different Tom than Coach Tom. And brother Tom to my brother and sister is a different Tom. So you've got different beings in different situations. And this is where you start to design each being necessary for you to succeed in whatever area you need in your life. And also here, we're going to state prime this being into you because you probably have 1 or 2 default beings that you fall back into. And this could be the being of being irritated really quick when there's a lot of pressure in the company or when you come home from your work. This is something we see often. You come home from your work and it's still the CEO sitting at the dinner table with his partner. Well, that's not a fun conversation, right? There's no flirtatious energy. There's no connection. It's just the CEO mindset. And your girl comes up to you. She got a problem. She likes to just blame a little bit to you on what her problems were that day. And you as a CEO try to solve her problems. That's not the best interaction at the dinner table. The best interaction at the dinner table is you being the husband, the partner, the man that listens to her, acknowledges her, right? But you have to be aware, in what being am I? If you're not, you're fucked. If you only miss this part and you don't master this, you don't know who you are, in which situation, you're done. Now, from there, we start making commitments and we actually make a clear game plan. Some people need phases in which way they need to work. Some people need a clear timeline. Some people just need one freaking commitment and they're gone. And they're on the road. But with that, we need integrity. So we go deeper on integrity because you can say you're going to do stuff, but if you don't follow through on your word is not worth anything. So we work on integrity. We work on the being of a gentleman or a lady. And this will allow you to also have more backbone in conversations, in agreements, not flaking on your word. And then the last one is we calibrate. And this is going to be a weekly structure where you calibrate based on the calibration points, which I haven't shared with you yet. And this will help you reflect, all right, am I still aligned with my natural wiring? Is this the best decision to get me to my aligned life, to my alignment declaration? And in what being do I need to be to get there? And what do I need to do? What commitments do I have to make? What is the actual action? How many clients? How many conversations? Which difficult conversation do I need to still have, right? And that is exactly what we're focused on. Often in these systems, you see that it maybe turns a little bit too feminine. It's like, oh, you have to feel good, give yourself some room. And what happens? We don't look at results anymore. But this system is made for you to move from A to B in whatever area you are. Yes, in the business, this works amazing, but also with your relationships, with anything you have. Let's say you are Andrew, you're at 17K per month, and you want to double the company. We need to get to 40K a month. In this example, we need to know Andrew's wiring, right? You want to double the company. So the aligned result, right? The aligned life, the point B that he wants to achieve is 40K. But we also have to look at his wiring in the way that, is this actually aligning with what you want? Is this truly what you want, or is it what you think you want? Are other people saying you want this? And why do you want this? And how can we make this in the right way? If you are the CEO of the agency that does 40K a month, where do you need to spend your time? Are you good at sales? Is that an activity that aligns? Or do you need to spend more time on the operations and hire a sales manager? Your wiring is so necessary in making these decisions. Now, this is pretty easy. A lot of people know this, but there's a big danger zone in the being and the doing. And often a lot of entrepreneurs only look at, what do I need to do? All right, double the company. That is double the amount of clients, or 2-3 clients more. And my current clients, I'll scale them a little bit. Then I need 2 more people in the delivery. Then that's all things you need to do. But what happens is you don't do it from the right being. And now all of a sudden, you try to hold on too much to your responsibilities. You're scared to let go or to outsource. And this is the being that comes from scarcity, or is afraid of loss, or afraid of rejection, whatever there is. And now you're not the CEO of the company, but you're still the manager of the company. And the manager still wants to manage everything. But because you do that, you don't allow room for your other new management team or your new managers to take on more responsibility. And now you are blaming at your point A that you're working from 9 to 9 every day. You see, this is an example where the being and the doing are not aligning with the 40K a month goal and your wiring. And actually, wiring is the answer to figure out what is the right being and the right doing to get to that aligned life, trust me. And this is a 6-week period where we implement this system, but eventually it's about you embodying this system. And if you do so, you'll start to realize that there are 2 main things that are very important. One is just realign yourself time and time again. Go back to your personal operating system. Look at your natural wiring again. Look at your alignment declaration again. See if your being and your doing, if they're aligned within this frame. If they're not, you're not in a straight line. You won't move from A to B as quick and as easy and as light as possible. You can still move from A to B, but there's probably a lot of pushing. There's probably a lot of resistance or irritation. And I want you to make it easy. You're doing $500,000 to $5 million a year. I mean, you make money. Why not just make it fun and light instead of heavy and suffering all the time and pushing through? And that doesn't mean there won't be any hard times anymore. But there's definitely a way you can enjoy life and contribute to people and make your life a little bit easier. So what you'll realize is you continuously start to realign yourself. And that's why I say alignment is positioning. Because you know what? That conversation with your manager, or that difficult conversation with your partner, or that conversation with your parents where you finally want to express something you haven't for years. Often you are going to have that conversation anyway. You were already going to go by for a coffee with your parents. You're already going to have this management meeting. It's the way you position yourself, your being, and what you're actually doing in the meeting that makes a change, that will make your life easier. So you realign yourself, and because you reposition yourself, you're able to harvest results. As you've seen, people get results within 3 months. And this is only, again, the business result. This is only the numbers. And this is a never-ending game. And this is actually the fun part, especially if your company does $500,000 to $5 million a year. It's like, you make money, let's make it a game to enjoy it as well as we can and to make it as light as possible. Because trust me, from that position, growing the company is so much more fun. You'll make so much more money. You'll be so much happier. Your partners, clients of mine, their partners are thankful that I'm working with them because they're literally changing as a person. Now, it's cool if you have this system, and within 3 months you can create amazing results. But I also put 52 because honestly, this is a never-ending game. Doing this thing, you can do this for the rest of your life because you never have reached your full potential. If you hit 1 million, now we're going for 2 million, now we're going for 5 million, now we're going for 10 million. All right, we have a cool adventure with the family, now we're doing more adventures, now we're making more fun, right? There's always a new level that you can reach. You ran that marathon within 4 hours, now do it within 3.5 hours. Now instead of using 2 legs, use 1 leg and do it again, right? Your full potential is impossible to reach. But it's the game of getting the most out of life. This is what I stand for. This is what I quit all my companies for. This is what I love to do the most. It's get you to reach the most. And to get you to get the most out of life, we use our personal operating system, but we need to keep it alive. And that's where the backbone comes in. This is system refinement. It's going through this system time and time again, understanding it your wiring to a deeper level, creating more different beings so you can switch in between different beings at the right moment. This is called situational leadership, being the right person in the right position at the right time as well. So you do the right stuff and you create the right results. It's a never-ending game again. And that's why we need to keep refining. And that's why I put this thing here. It's never ending. Now, the backbone is the following. I do a weekly session, and within this weekly session, in preparation, I launch a weekly download. It's an audio with a question, which allows you to receive new data, new insights, which you can implement straight away that day, that week into your life. You can think about, there will be actions straight away that you can implement to create more awareness. The only thing that's in between you reaching the next level in your life and making more money, having better relationships, the only thing that's in between you and that goal that you have is your awareness. Because if you understand it to a certain extent, then you'll know what to do. Then you know where you need to be. But you don't. And that's why we keep going deeper and deeper into who you are, into understanding yourself, your team, the people around you. And with that weekly session and the preparation audio, the weekly download, you get one-on-one chat support. You can text me all day, every day, and we have a monthly one-on-one call. And with that, this is not just some group session. Listen, in my agency, we work with a lot of coaches and consultants. I've seen the 10% success rates in the courses, in the trainings. Everybody I work with is successful. And the reason that is, and that may be a big claim, but the reason that is because we don't implement just a simple system in the business. We implement a system in your life. And this system, you can use it for the rest of your life. And the only thing you need to do is keep working on your backbone. Build your own backbone by showing up to these sessions, by texting me, asking questions, by the monthly one-on-one to make sure that even the little deeper things are being spotted by me personally, to make sure that you actually transform and you don't stay in the comfort zone, you don't look away from things that you should look at. And with that, we have a group that creates more accountability, but also brotherhood. And brotherhood is not a group of friends that are committed to being on your birthday when your birthday is. Brotherhood is a group of people that are committed to your potential, that are there to give you feedback if they see something. And trust me, in the last few days, I've got so many messages from people giving me honest feedback, which I may not wanted to hear. But I got the feedback, I implemented it, and I see improvements. That's brotherhood. They go through discomfort to be there for me. Instead of talking behind my back to other people, they talk to me. And that is the difference of gentlemen, in my opinion, versus a boy. That's the difference between a brother versus a friend. Now, that is the group you're entering. So not everybody is in this group. This is not some scalable group with 100 people in this for me to make as much money as I can. My only goal is to get you on this backbone and to start living this backbone so you can commit on results and create results. Create whatever the freak you want to create. So this is not support. This is your rhythm, your refinement. This is how you stay aligned. You can create alignment, but you can fall out of alignment very easy. We all know that feeling. One of my mentors used to say, you can become a champion. Now it's the art of staying a champion, which is a very different game. You know, Rico Verhoeven, the kickboxer, he's been a champion for so long. That's a different game. Winning once is different than staying the champion forever. Now, every week you sharpen your mind, you sharpen your awareness, you reflect more, and this will allow you to transform. And growth is inevitable because showing up is literally non-negotiable. Everybody always shows up to the sessions, point blank. You invested in this, you commit to this with your time, energy, attention, because then I can guarantee that you'll change. And that's the only thing I'm in for, 100% success rate. Everybody needs to transform. So this one-on-one group is a weekly alignment group session, one-on-one monthly call with me, WhatsApp support, and I like to underpromise and overdeliver. So there can be extra group sessions when needed, guest speakers. I already have a list ready of people I want to invite. Next, I've got additional private content, which I only share with you guys or my select group of one-on-one clients I work with. And it's a group, as I said, with winners only. Everybody always shows up, no bullshit. And everybody's always prepared on the download, and everybody is participating. Players, not spectators. Trust me, truly, if you drop below the standard of the group for too long, you're out. I'll refund you the money, I don't care. I want this group to be the strongest group ever in existence. Now, I want everybody to get into this aligned life. This is what I truly wish for anybody in their lives. It is to have their businesses flourishing. It is to have great health. It's to achieve cool stuff within your health, like run that Hyrox within the quickest time. You know, feel good again. You know, I have Lyme disease. I'm recovering from Lyme disease. I always have 30 to 40% less energy. I'm able to do stuff. I'm able to create. So if you have energy and you're healthy, you can do so much. And it hurts me when people stay in suffering, stay in pushing, stay in, it's so heavy, it's so difficult. And that's why I'm getting so happy. For me, it's pleasure when I get to talk to you guys, shift the perspective, shift the mindset, implement this system. And you guys come back to me a few weeks later and you're like, holy shit, this made so much impact. This is what I'm doing it for. My mission is to get as many people on board with this personal operating system, with this backbone, to change their lives, to feel better. So for that reason, if this resonates, if you know you don't need another system in the business, you need a system in your life, then I want to invite you to go to the link under this video to book in a call with me and possibly in the future with my team. And we'll talk about it. You'll get a free session. We'll look at your point A. We'll look at your point B. We'll look at what are the things that you're missing, what we need to add in there. We look at what shifts you need to make. And this session on itself is already very valuable. And if it resonates, you jump in. But if there's not a click, that's fine, because we're not allowing everybody in. I have a handful of one-on-one clients that's already full. I just have a limited amount of availability in this group. I want this group to be like the main football team. I want this to be like Real Madrid and I'm the trainer. So if this aligns, if this resonates, again, schedule that meeting. Don't hold back. Or message me on Instagram and then I'll talk to you soon.